project that I did last night. I'm super excited about it because this is the very first time that I used my fuse tool. I have literally had it in the package since April, and I had made a post that said, no matter what, tomorrow I am getting out my fuse tool. It got near the end of the evening. I still hadn't made anything, but I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do. I wanted to do these little mason jars, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to put in them. So I'm going to start getting ready for Halloween for all of my classes that I have coming up. And I remembered this cute little candy corn thing that I learned how to do. And I'm sure that several people know how to do this, but several people don't. So I'm going to get that out of the way so we can get started. The first thing with your fuse is that you want to work on something because you are actually melting plastic. And I'm going to show you some of the supplies that I used first. Most of these are Stampin' Up! Supplies. I think the only thing that I have that isn't is the fuse, but I couldn't do this project without it. If we did have the fuse, I'd be saying, oh, well, we got it at Stampin' Up! So anyway, I am going to show you what I did first to make the candy corn. And I have some cardstock, and I cut it smaller because I'm going to be punching it. When you're using our punches, you want to just cut a strip the size that you'll need because it just makes it much easier to work with, especially with our owl punch, our cupcake punch. And we also have a new punch that has apples and a tree and fun stuff like that. It coordinates with our new Ronald McDonald stamp set. So anyway, I'm going to show you how I made the candy corn first, but I'm sure you're going to get the idea really, really quick. And I took a 3/4 inch punch. I took the 1 1/4 inch punch and a 1 3/8 inch punch to make the candy corn. And the first thing I did was punch out some 3/4 inch circles, like so. And I also, in the Tangelo Twist, this was Whisper White, this is Tangelo Twist. I did the 1 1/4 inch circles. And in the Daffodil Delight, I did a 1 3/8 inch circle. I'll use the black a little bit later. So we have the Daffodil Delight, the Tangelo Twist, and the white. Then I took my Tombow, it's a mono multi-purpose liquid glue. I really like this glue. It is permanent, and when it's wet, it really lets you kind of like move your little paper pieces around so you could get them centered. I have my old one because I have to use it up. And on the smaller circle, you want to make sure you get it all over because we are going to be cutting these up. And you want it to make a very good layer of glue in between so that your pieces don't fall apart. And then I did it on the white, Whisper White. And you can see how that's kind of wet. You don't want to go too close to the edge or it will kind of ooze out. But that's kind of a handy little glue to have. The next thing I did was I just put my Tangelo Twist circles in the middle of the Daffodil Delight. And I just made sure I had them centered pretty well. And then I took the smaller white, the 3/4 inch Whisper white, and I put that in the middle as well. These are really fun to make and really cheap because you can make all of these little candy corns just using your scraps. Now I'm going to use the ones that I glued earlier because I know that they're dry, and this one I didn't get quite in the center, but I'll cut that one first so you can see that it really doesn't matter. I took my Stampin' Up! Paper snips and I cut that. These snips are so sharp and the point is so nice on them, and I've had mine for over 3.5 years now and I've never had a problem with it. So I cut each circle in half, and then I cut it like a 6-piece pie so that you get the little wedges, and you can see how cute those are. You could do smaller ones, and what you would do then is just cut your circles in half, in quarters, and you get 8 pieces instead of 6. Okay, so you can see how fast and how easy and how cute these are. I'm going to go ahead and put those over to the side for just a minute. And the next thing I had to do was use my Big Shot, which we carry the Big Shots. And there's always a sign-up deal right now. And for $99, you can get $125 worth of Stampin' Up! Product and free shipping also when you sign up. All right, I took the dies out of the package because I knew I was going to be using them. Oh, here they are. And anyhow, so you get free shipping, you get 8 free catalogs, you get a lot of order forms and all sorts of things for the $99 with the free shipping. The Big Shot is $110, but if you use that $99 deal, you get your Big Shot and you get $15 more worth of product to select from. And after that one, you get a 20% discount on all of your future purchases. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut out my little bonnets, and I'm going to use black. This is an old Stampin' Up! Set. It's called the Cannery set. Very simple name. They're coming up with better names now, but this is one of their original framelit dies. And oops, I didn't line my plates up right, and I'm always harping about that. So anyway, we'll try that one again. I'm going to put my little jar lid, the bonnet, whatever you'd like to call it. And this time I have it lined up right. It's easier to do when you don't have the Big Shot sliding all over the place, but I wanted to protect my desktop, so I put that paper down. Okay, and I'm going to do one more, make sure I line my plates up right so that they go through. You just want all your corners to be matched up. And then you just push it forward until your handle turns by itself. And I've got my 2 jar tops. As you can see, we'll be using those a little bit later. And then you need the page protectors. And I just happen to have one already cut up, so I can show you how to do it. So to get the outline for your mason jar, you would just put that on top of your photo page protector. And if you get the 12 by 12 ones, you can get a lot of these out of one sheet. And I am going to go ahead and cut 2 because if I make a mistake, I want to be able to just quickly get to the next step. This one looks a little better. Some people use their pocket letter pockets. They're like baseball trading card pockets. And they could run a lot cheaper than the 12 by 12 sheets, just depending on where you get them and if you have a coupon. So you kind of have to decide what's going to work best for you. But the 12 by 12 sheets, you can get a lot more per page. These happen, I'd be able to get 9 from the 9 pocket. So you can see it just made an indentation on that, on the top and bottom, and it didn't really cut that out. I don't know if it's, okay, yeah, I think you can see it there. And we'll put our dies away. Okay, so now for the fun part. When you first use your fuse, at least for me, it's a little bit awkward, especially if you want to go around curves. And this, you're supposed to heat it up for 10 minutes before you use it. And what it does is it heats up this little tip. And those of you who sew, it's like one of those little tracing wheels, but it's really super tiny. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you leave an opening at the top or somewhere for you to fill your jars. I chose the top because I figured if I messed up when I first got it started, that I'd be covering that up anyway. And then I just did try to follow. And the awkward part is that it would be best if you could just keep moving in a continuous manner. And you can see I already messed that up, so I'll do it with the other one. But you don't have to. I just think it would be smoother if you did. Now you let that dry for like a second or harden or whatever. But you can see why you kind of want that continuous move, because it starts to, you know, like melt the plastic if you slow down and start up again. So I'm going to try that one again. And this time I am going to try to turn my pocket. And you have to move quickly too, because if you don't, I couldn't do it in a complete one. If you don't move quickly, you will melt your plastic, and then you'll have a hole like I did on my last one. And I couldn't get all the way around again. But considering this is only about the 6th one that I've tried, if you count the other one that I messed up. So let it dry for a minute, and then you can lift it. If you lift it too soon, this will come apart. And then we're just going to take our paper snips again. And you want to leave a little bit around the outside. You don't want to cut all the way up to the fused line that you just made. And you can always trim more, but you can't put it back on. So I always tend to go bigger when I'm experimenting with cutting around the edge. And then I just followed the regular top where I had left that open. So you can see now I've got a cute little mason jar. As I was saying about our cannery set, that is a retired one, but there's lots of mason jar dies out there, and I'm sure that if you look, you'll be able to find one. Hopefully with the popularity of mason jars coming back, maybe Stampin' Up! Will come out with another one. So then I just took my little candy corn and I tried dropping them in all different ways. Some I dropped down with the bottom first. Some I dropped with the side, upside down, and they do spin around once they're in there, so you're never going to get like a perfectly arranged little packet, but it'll still be cute. And you don't want to put too many because then it'll make it puff out too much. And it won't look as nice as just putting in a few. And then I just shook it down and messed with it. So 2 circles cut up is just about perfect for that. And this one has some glue on it, so I don't want to use that one without getting the glue off of it. Oh, the glue is inside now. Oh, okay. We'll make that work. Anyhow, so we'll put the rest of the candy corns in. And then you just take your fuse, kind of hit them around a little bit, make them separate. And you just go along the top to seal it. And that doesn't have to be pretty because we're not even going to know it's there. I am so glad that I promised myself I was going to use this and take it out of the package because this is really fun. Okay, up near the neck where we're going to put our bonnet or lid, I did trim it a little close so that you don't have plastic sticking out at the edges of the bonnet, because you can see how it kind of goes in. And what I did there is, you can do this in multiple ways. You can use your Tombow, you can use your snail runner, and also you can use the Stampin' Dimensionals. And the Stampin' Dimensionals are nice because they add just enough dimension that it looks natural. It doesn't add too much to make it look out of shape when you put on the top. It'll just give it just a nice little amount. And I thought I'd get that covered up, but I didn't. But it's still cute. And again, you could use your glue or you could tape both sides, but just to show you a variation, I did go with the dimensionals, and you can see like how that lifts that up just a little bit. On these, I didn't use the dimensionals, and it did lift up a little bit too, but I did just use the Tombow. If you use the Tombow, try to keep it up near the top, because if it squirts out underneath, that's when you're going to have glue and a mess. And then finally, I took some of our thin baker's twine, and I used the basic black, and I think we still have this available. And I took off enough so that I could tie the ends. So I need a little bit more. I always work with my twine just stuck together. I don't cut it off because you really don't know how big of a piece you're going to need. And I think if you're not cutting off way too much, you're saving supplies and saving a little bit of money. So then I just simply took one end, I tucked it under, just so I can make this really tight. And I did a bow. If I could do this upside down, I would have, but I can't tie upside down and have it look pretty. I probably could and just, it would be a mess. And then you just snip your ends however long you want them. And you know what, that kind of hides that little blemish. So if you have a little blemish here and there, it's okay. So a couple ideas of what you can use these for would be in pocket letters, as either going in your card as a shaker. You could use it for greeting cards. You could use it on the top of a package as just a little decoration, or even as kind of like with the gift tag, you could put like the little gift tag behind it. You could use it for a party favor, just all kinds of things. So I hope that you enjoyed my video today. At the end, I do have my website and a July 2015 hostess code that you can use if you choose to order any of these items. And it also has my website and a supply list of everything in the catalog that I used from the Stampin' Up! Catalog. If it wasn't from the catalog, I did not put it on the list. And I did not list the Big Shot, but you can find the Big Shot just by typing in search Big Shot. And then the code number for the black baker's twine is 134576, and I believe that these are $4. And you get quite a bit on that. You get 25 yards for $4. So that's a pretty good price. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope I inspired you to get your fuse out of the package. I know a lot of my friends still are in the package, but I hope this helps you see how easy they are to use and what fun they are. So thank you for watching today, and I hope you do something creative.